I think, Minister, yesterday's incident in Intel brings to the fore again in the public mindset anyway how important it is to have a well-equipped and resourced army bomb squad. We have a bomb disposal unit in Athlone, the Curragh Rathmines and in Cork. In the last 3 years they were called out 595 times. 75 of those were to schools where there were unstable chemicals that had to be dealt with by the Defence Forces. And can I ask you, Minister, what steps are now being taken to increase the number of active personnel within the bomb disposal units?
Thank you, Minister. Number 9.
Yeah, no, first of all, thanks for this question. It's a very relevant one. And just to ease people's minds, last year the total number of call-outs were 141. There were 250 the year before, but that's not to suggest that the problem's going away. It's not. The figures go up and down from 180 back in 2008 to 140 last year. It could be higher again this year. We'll have to wait and see. Explosive ordnance disposal is the military term used to refer to what is commonly called bomb disposal. Explosive ordnance disposal is a task assigned to the Defence Forces by government and is provided in aid to civil powers, i.e. the Gardaí. Within the Defence Forces, the explosive ordnance disposal function is assigned to the Ordnance Corps. The issues of the terms and conditions for entry into the Ordnance Corps has been raised by the Representative Association for Commissioned Officers, RACO, at Conciliation Council. In accordance with the normal procedures of the association's claim, in accordance with the normal procedures, the association's claim is being dealt with under the conciliation and arbitration scheme for members of the Permanent Defence Forces. As discussions under the scheme are confidential to the parties involved, it's not appropriate for me to talk about it in detail. However, it is my intention that recruitment will commence as soon as the terms and conditions have been agreed.
Thank you, Minister.
There has been a concern expressed by RACO that because of the recruitment procedures that are there, which do take some time, that there are not as many as there should be in the Ordnance Division within the Defence Forces. We're addressing that issue because it's an important issue. We have both international credibility in this area in terms of training. Ironically, actually, in Afghanistan, one of the things we are involved in is actually training in this area in terms of bomb disposal and explosives management. So we do need to maintain a skill set here and the numbers. But there's an ongoing discussion which is being finalised with RACO in terms of the terms and conditions.
Thank you, Deputy.
Briefly,
Denis Naughten.
Just briefly, can I say, Minister, the last intake for our own Defence Forces was in September 2011, which is over 4 years ago. Now, while we have been training many personnel from around the world, we haven't been training our own personnel to man our own Army bomb disposal unit. Now, by the middle of this year, with retirements and because staff have left now because of the number of duties that they have to do a month away from home, and it looks like that's going to increase. We're going to be down to less than half the active numbers of personnel that we need to effectively operate our bomb disposal units. So can I ask you, Minister, how big a priority is this, and when are we actually going to see the intake take place, and when are we going to have our numbers back up to the requirement that we need to maintain the 4 units across the country and to deal with our international obligations?
Thank you, Deputy. Final reply, Minister.
Yeah, no, well, first of all, I'm not going to talk about numbers because it's not appropriate for me to do that while the conciliation process is ongoing. But it is a priority for me to get this conciliation process concluded, to get agreement through that process with RACO so that we can move ahead and make sure that, one, we maintain the training levels and the skill set that is needed in this really important area, and secondly, we get the numbers of people that we need to make sure that we're fully covered. So that is a big priority, and I intend on progressing it as a priority. But I, like with the 21-year rule issue, I have to wait for a process to conclude before I can start making definitive commitments and comments on it, because I think otherwise I'd be wading in the middle of a conciliation process, which I don't think would be very clever in the current environment.